guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob, and this video, you guys have been waiting a long time for this. I'm revving up. Yes, give me a minute. It's been a couple of years since I've done this. And this video is Godzilla 30 for 30. Yes! Yes! Alright, guys. I know some of you have been dying to see that for a long time. I've been hearing this since like months and months. Even last year, people had been wanting me to do this. So 30 for 30 series. Yeah. And so far, the videos leading up to this point have kind of been like a docu-series. I just kind of want to switch it up. I don't want each video to kind of be like this, like a vlog. So I'm trying to just mix it up a little bit. But this video, as we exit the Showa era, because we have a couple more videos in the Showa era, then we're going to move into the Heisei. We want to take a look at the darkest Godzilla movies in the Showa era, and I can only really think of two. One, of course, being Godzilla 1954, definitely, and then the other, some of you might be surprised, is actually Godzilla versus Hedorah. Yeah, I think these two could definitely be considered probably on the more darker side of the Godzilla movies in the Showa era, when you consider that all the other movies are more or less very happy, and Godzilla's a hero, and, you know, rah-rah, Godzilla's come to save the day. And so how could we assess these two movies in such a way that one of them is solidified as the darkest movie? Now, I know a lot of you right away are going to say, Godzilla 54, hands down. No way, hands down. You know, you hear all those comments, all very hands down, hands down, hands down, hands down, down, hands down. Yeah, I get it. Okay, I get it. Hear me out. First of all, let's put Godzilla 54 on the side for a minute. Let's talk about Godzilla vs. Hedorah. So what makes this movie, to me, a fairly dark movie? Well, when you look at this movie, exclude all the scenes with Godzilla for a moment and think about all the scenes that include Hedorah. And you really start to kind of boil down to some pretty creepy things happening. Of course, from the time he's just a little tadpole to the time he's just a giant kaiju, Hedorah is pretty menacing and has some pretty disgusting and devastating abilities, natural occurrences, because of his whole, biology. One in particular scene I can remember, all right, this is completely out of order, is he's just coasting through the air, no problem, going to his next factory to suck up all the smog, and as he flies over just a group of people walking, instant death. And they turn into skeletons. Now, you look at the scene now, of course, haha, that's so funny, that's cheesy. But when you're my age, back in those days, at the age of like 6 or 7, and you see this, it's pretty creepy. Add to that the scene in the disco. It's all dark, there's music going on, yeah, but it's dark, and this sludge, nasty shit is just coming down the stairs. I mean, these are not your typical Godzilla movie scenes. Some of these scenes are pretty creepy, pretty scary. When he's sucking up all the like cars and stuff like that. And I mean, and then in the beginning of the movie, when he infects the father, he is just a nasty monster. And like I said, there's areas in this movie that are pretty dark, especially when it's coming from Hedorah, when it's only Hedorah's perspective. The movie doesn't start to get cheesy or light until Godzilla's on screen. I mean, the first appearance Godzilla makes, you hear the music, and then the sun is out, and he's looking around like, yep, I'm here to do my thing. And then every scene after that includes Godzilla is more light-hearted, very heroic. And then you get the scene where he flips his tail between his legs and he takes off. So, of course, when you think about this movie and you think about the scenes including Godzilla, yeah, it's pretty cheesy, or it's very lighthearted. But the scenes that don't include him, that include Hedorah by himself, think about it from a kid's perspective, back in the day, that's pretty creepy stuff. And it's pretty dark in comparison to a lot of the other movies, Godzilla vs. Megalon, Godzilla vs. Gigan, even Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, which some people I think would lean towards that being dark, but not really to me. I think of it more as a serious, a little bit more serious than some of the other Showa movies, but definitely not as dark as what I think is the smog monster. So how could that even compare to Godzilla 54 in terms of having such a dark theme? Well, Godzilla 54 doesn't really start to get thematically dark until he starts to descend on Japan. Prior to that, it's just your standard movie. You're setting up the story. People are interacting. They're trying to figure more things out about Godzilla. You see him once on the island. The sun is out. People are running. But it's not until he descends on Japan at night is really when it gets dark. And probably one of the more darker moments is, we all know the scene with the mother and her 2 kids. Very dark. You know, the destruction. I mean, that end part of the movie, that last portion of Godzilla 54 is extremely dark in comparison to the earlier half, which is just a standard like sci-fi movie where they're discovered a species and they're trying to learn about it and they're trying to take measures to defend themselves. So when you look at the dark moments of Godzilla 54 and Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, you can kind of chip away at areas of the movie that are very, very dark. So how do I make a conclusion? Well, I think the one difference that gives 1954 an edge, maybe a little bit more than an edge, over Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster, is that there are no cheesy moments in Godzilla 54. It is a serious movie from beginning to end, where Smog Monster could have been probably the darkest movie in the series had it not had those cheesy moments like Godzilla flying, or the cheesy music that plays when Godzilla shows up. Because let me tell you, the scenes that include the Smog Monster and Godzilla's not on screen are pretty foreboding. And you could have easily kept that theme and that tone throughout the movie had you not added the cheesy music when Godzilla pops up, had you not made Godzilla fly, and if you just made Godzilla, you know. So yeah, I think 54 would definitely be the darkest movie in the Showa era, in terms of how serious in tone the movie is, and just really how dark it gets when Godzilla descends on Japan towards the final half of the movie. And with Godzilla vs. Hedorah, yes, there's some definitely scary, creepy moments and very dark moments that include Hedorah, but unfortunately, they're kind of chipped at the knees when Godzilla shows up on screen. It's actually funny and almost hard to admit that the movie gets worse when Godzilla appears as opposed to when Hedorah is just on his own. Wow, never thought of it that way, but now that I'm breaking it down, I do realize that Hedorah could have been a great kaiju, and Godzilla vs. Hedorah could have been a great movie had Godzilla been handled in a more serious way, as opposed to, you know, being a little bit, and I understand why they did it. Before you guys go off in the comments, that was the time they were trying to make Godzilla a good guy. They wanted him to be friends with kids and a big savior. But I just think, you know, hindsight being 2020, if they had taken Godzilla more seriously in that movie and kept the tone and the theme, Godzilla vs. Hedorah could have been one of the best. But anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you are a subscriber. Until next video, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page.